About here. So I made this comparison, even though I've already made my decision, because my decision is not cut and dry. And here's what I mean by that. The Nordstrand Zen Blades are amazing pickups. And they are very interesting as far as humbucking bass pickups go, because they sound brighter than most humbuckers on a bass, and they sound less nasal, mid-rangey than most. And you would think that that's because they are low output. Here's what's confusing about that is I measured them at 13K wired in series. The neck and bridge are a little bit different. That seems pretty high, but they are seemingly kind of low output. I did some tests between my basses, and they're very quiet compared to some others, and so I raised the pickups where they were very close to the strings, closer than I like, to get a better output, and it was still quieter than some basses, but it helped. I didn't like doing that, but it's fine. It's not a deal breaker. But these DCBs are automatically, right off the bat, higher output. And I can tell that they're wound a little hotter. I didn't remember to measure them before I put them in. So even though when I measure the DC resistance in the circuit, it's only at like 9, it's probably actually higher. It probably has more wire, or it's the fact that it's dual ceramic bars. See, I don't know what the inside of the Zen Blade looks like. I know there's 2 coils, but they're sidewinders, and maybe it's the fact that they're turned on their sides, and the steel blade in the middle is the one thing sensing the string, that it sounds so much different. I don't know. But the reason I'm sticking with the Aguilars is not because they sound better. Interesting, right? It's because of 2 things. They are quieter to external noise right off the bat, while simultaneously having higher output. It's pretty interesting, right? I think the fact that they are quieter is because the whole thing is epoxied in, and this is exactly what I experienced with my Sterling bass as well. I had a Nordstrand in it. I loved the sound, but it was noisy. And so I switched to an Aguilar DCB for Stingray pickup, and it was very, very, very quiet. And so the same thing happened here. See, I wouldn't have even swapped these pickups had I not found the Aguilars being sold, used by somebody for a really good price. In my opinion, the retail price for the DCBs is not what it should be. I think they are overpriced. Yeah, I would love to, this is out of my budget, but I would like to take all these black, plain, solid soap bar pickups that are EMG shaped and compare them all. So that's EMG DCB, I'm sorry, Aguilar DCB, EMG HZ, the passive ones, and then the Seymour Duncan SSB. That's their basically EMG replacement. I think there's some others. We could do the lace, alumitone, the ones that just look like a regular soap bar. Just a shootout between all of these, because I have a feeling that the differences are like little minor minuscule things. But let me throw this out there. The differences between these pickups can all be neglected in some way, shape, or form. Like, if I had to give the edge to the Nordstrands on something, it's clarity. I really like that. If I had to give the edge to the Aguilars on something, it's that they have a little bit more bass, like they're a little bit more full because they are louder, right? But those things can be EQ'd. So sort of like the Aguilars have more nasally mids than I like. They sound more like a true humbucker, which that can be EQ'd out. So there's a lot of things that can be fixed in post. One thing that cannot be fixed in post very well is noise. When you record a track and it's noisy, it's scratchy, it's got hiss in it, whatever, you're kind of stuck with that. There's some plugins that can try to reduce it, but it's hard. So I would rather just go with something that's quieter noise-wise and louder output-wise. That's my choice. That's what I've done here. It's an active bass. I can add treble on the bass. I have already recorded a track with these, and I was interested to see in the studio that I found it mid-rangey. I didn't want to go with both pickups in the middle, so I did favor the neck a little bit, roll down the tone a little bit, and then I found it kind of mid-rangey, so I did a 8x10 speaker simulation on it. And if you know anything about those, they sort of scoop like automatically. I don't know what it is about having 810s. It scoops a lot out, right? So I did that, and it sounded pretty good. It still sounded a certain kind of way, but then by the time the mixing and mastering was done, it sounded huge. So I am convinced that a lot of subtleties are lost anyways in mixing and mastering process. That's just how it is. But this is the hardest decision I've had to make as far as which one's better, because it's not cut and dry. A lot of the times with these pickup swaps, I'm like, oh yeah, that one's my favorite. But this was not like that at all. So yeah, decide for yourself. This is just a small sample comparison, taking the preamp out of the equation for